Voter fraud? Oh, voter fraud. Add voter fraud to the list of crazy things that have taken place in 2020. Voter fraud is one of those things that will remain on the minds of Americans for years to come, and as it should. Some media outlets and politicians are attempting to dismiss voter fraud since it does not fit their narrative. One main claim against voter fraud is that there is no evidence of voter fraud taking place.
Right here, Sean, 234 pages of sworn affidavits. These are real people, real allegations.
As he continues to refuse to accept election defeat.
Sorry, leftists, this is not a valid argument. First, voter fraud has been proven and recorded many times. Even if we were to ignore all evidence from this year's election and oh, it's a lot, we would still have recorded accounts of voter fraud. The Heritage Foundation has a sampling of over 1,000 cases where voter fraud was caught and the criminals were convicted. So this argument that voter fraud is not something that happens is easily dismissed with a quick click to the link down below from the Heritage Foundation. Another argument is that there has never been evidence of voter fraud, never in history, so therefore voter fraud could not have taken place. Well, this is a fallacy known as appeal to tradition. The fallacy of appealing to tradition is using the argument that, oh, it's always been done, so it should continue to be done. Or, oh, it's never happened before, so there is no way that it's happening now. We do not validate things from happening based on what has been done before. A person could hit, 79 million votes in a presidential election, and just because that hasn't happened before does not make it not true. Though that example I just used, well, that one is a little up for question. But the lack of appealing to tradition has made this country progress and become what it is today. In the past, there wasn't freedom of speech. The US broke that tradition. In the past, women couldn't vote, and the US broke that tradition. But simply because there is no record of something occurring in the past does not invalidate it from ever happening in the future. So even if there's no evidence of voter fraud, and voter fraud never occurring in previous elections, which we know it has, that does not make it so that voter fraud can never happen ever. Voter fraud is not something to be taken lightly or ignored. Voter fraud hurts the integrity of the election, it disenfranchises the voter, and honestly makes us and our election system kind of look like a joke. Addressing the problem is the first step in fixing the problem. And let's say, in a perfect world, there's no election fraud that had took place in this election. It would be better to have thoroughly investigated this election and its votes than to have totally ignored all allegations. Not only would ignoring the problem leave people wondering, is there voter fraud? Is there voter fraud happening in any election? But it also leaves wonder in the minds of other countries who observe and take inspiration from the great United States and how it operates.